Okay, go ahead, answer the next question. Okay, which of the following is true about a database? A database is a collection of data. SQL is not actually technically a programming language. It's a structured query language. So um, it's it's something as a programmer you need to know, but it's not considered a programming language because all it's used for is retrieving data, not like building a website or something or building a program with code. So, Brian, can you read this one?
Database tables. A table stores and displays data in a structured format consisting of columns and rows that are similar to those in Excel spreadsheets. Database often contains multiple tables, each designed for a specific purpose. For example, imagine creating a database table of names and telephone numbers. First, we would set up a columns with the tiles first name, last name, and phone number, and each table its own set of fields based on the data it will store. A table has specified number of columns, but they can have any number of rows.
Because the rows are what your entries are, your the data that you're trying to save. So that's why it's infinite number of that. Go ahead, answer the next question. Tables are made up of columns and rows. Sandra, can you read this one?
Primary keys. A primary key is a field in a table that uniquely identifies the table records. The primary key's main feature, it must contain a unique value for each row. It cannot contain null values. For example, our table contains a record for each name in the phone book. The unique ID number would be a good choice for a primary key in this table, as there's always the chance for more than one person to have the same name. Tables are limited to one primary key each. The primary key's value be different for each row.
So if you don't assign a ID, it's gonna auto generate the ID for you because it needs an ID. But especially with like user accounts and stuff, we tend to assign like email addresses because an email address is unique. It's not like a phone number where one house might have, you know, 3 people using that phone number or whatever, right? With the email, it's generally specific to that person. So a lot of times we'll assign that. But anyway, long story short, you can either auto assign it or let it get assigned. And like if you're creating like a member, that's why we have like member IDs and stuff, right? As a unique number that you're assigning to a person to reference their account. So member IDs are another good example of the ID or whatnot you'll use to retrieve that specific row of data. Okay.
So whoever signs up, they don't see the ID. That's just for your records, right?
Unless you share the ID with them. Like if but I mean that's generally why we make the email the ID, right? So when they sign up, they know that their login information is just their email as opposed to having to enter their member ID. But no, it's not just nothing is shown to anybody without you programming it for them to see it. So if you want to show them the ID, you could show them the ID and say, save this for your records or whatever. And if you don't, then you don't. So
Okay, because I've never seen ID in number form. And so that's why I was asking if it's something behind the scene for your records or, but yeah, if you can make it as an email, make it unique and then have them see it as a logon, then it makes sense.
yeah. All right, go ahead, answer the next one. The unique column used to identify the record is called the primary key. Patricia, can you read this one?
Yeah. What is SQL? Once you understand what a database is, understanding SQL is easy. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. SQL is used to access and manipulate a database. MySQL is a program that understands SQL. SQL can insert, update, or delete records in a database, create new databases, tables, stored procedures, and views, retrieve data from a database, etc. SQL is an ANSI standard, but there are different versions of the SQL language. Most SQL database programs have their own proprietary extensions in addition to the SQL standard, but all of them support the major commands.
Okay, go ahead, answer the next question. What is the name of the language used in creating and accessing databases? SQL or SQL. Mike, can you read this one?
Sure. Basic SQL commands. The SQL show statement displays information contained in the database and its tables. This helpful tool lets you keep track of your database contents and remind yourself about the structure of your tables. For example, the show database command lists the database managed by the server. Throughout the tutorial, we'll be using the MySQL engine and the PHP MyAdmin tool to run SQL queries. The easiest way to get MySQL and PHP MyAdmin is to install free tools like XAMPP or WAMP, which include all necessary installers.
So we're not going to do that. You've got the Google NoSQL database, and we will play around with that as necessary, but we're not going to install MySQL and all that stuff. So go ahead, answer the next question.
Hey, Brandon, where is this command put in the command prompt to like show database?
Oh, yeah, I should have mentioned that's not a thing in with the NoSQL database. That's a thing more in just like with MySQL, and probably SQL Server too, and like most other database management systems. So
Okay.
drag and drop the options below to complete the command list of all the databases. Show databases. Roger, can you read this one?
The show tables command is used to display all the tables in the currently selected MySQL database. For example, we have created a database, my database, with a table called customers.
Okay. So again, we're not doing that, but with what's it called? With Google, if you want to see the stuff in your database and like what databases you've created and stuff, you just go to Google Data Store and log in. It loads. All right. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So you just go to Data Store and sign in. And from here, you'll see your NoSQL database and then like all the different tables that you've got and everything. And also with what's it called? While you're doing like your test database stuff before you're using your real database, you can what's it called? You can view it by either going to the /ndb for the PC and the I forget what it is for the Mac one, but I think it's like the 80 something or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so that you can view your test database stuff that way. Okay, go ahead, answer the next question. So we're still going to go through all this just because you might end up working for a company where you're using like MySQL as opposed to, you know, NoSQL database, even though NoSQL's becoming more the standard nowadays. So it'd still be good to be familiar with this, even if like you haven't used it, just in case. So this isn't a total waste of time, even though it's not stuff we're using. Drag and drop the options below to view a list of tables for the currently selected databases. Show tables. Mark, can you read this one?
Show columns display information about the columns in a given table. The following example displays the columns in our customer table. Show columns displays the following values for each table columns: field columns name, type column, data type, key, indicates whether the column is indexed. Default value assigned to the columns. Extra may contain any additional information that is available above, or excuse me, available about to give columns. The column for the customers table have also been created using the PHP My Admin tool.
So this stuff is with Google's SQL is more created right here in your MyNDB, where you're specifying whether it's a string property, whether it's an integer property, boolean, whatever, right? But with SQL, when you're creating tables, like they get a little more specific, like varchars, like various characters up to 60, or various characters up to 30 characters. With Google, it doesn't matter how many characters, because it lets you put whatever. I think it's actually up to 1200, but above 1200, if you make it a text property instead of a string property, then it'll go to an infinite size. So yeah, you don't have to specify it with Google like you do MySQL. Okay, go ahead, answer the next question. Okay, drag and drop the options below to view the columns from the customers table. Show columns from customers. And again, Google doesn't do that. Doesn't have show. They just do select, which we will be covering now. Peter, can you read this one?
Oh, they got me. Select statement. The select statement is used to select data from a database. The result is stored in the result table, which is called the result set. A query may retrieve information from selected columns or from all columns in the table. To create a simple select statement, specify the names of the columns you need from the table. The syntax of the SQL select statement will be select column list from table dash name. Column list includes one or more columns from which data is retrieved. Table name is a name of the table from which the information is retrieved. Below is the data from our customers table. They got ID, they got the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, first, last name, city, zip code. The first time I'm just gonna put my name, Peter Ba, New York, because I'm in New York right now. 10462 is my zip code. The following SQL statement selects the first name from the customer's table. Select first name from customer and it says try it yourself. First name, John, David, Chloe, Emily, James. The select statement retrieves 0 or more rows from one or more database tables.
Okay, so this one, it's just going to retrieve just the first names. So you can put more stuff here, like you could put, well, I don't know what they named the other thing. I'm assuming they named it city. Yeah. So you can put more things to get more results, or what we usually do is we just put the star for just give me everything, and then it's going to give you everything in that table. So generally when you're working with MySQL or with Google's NoSQL, you'll just do select star from whatever, and then you'll retrieve the individual rows or whatever by, not rows, the individual column information programmatically like this. Let's find a example. Mm, let's upload. Probably here. Okay. Yeah. Well, no, that's just adding it. I'm creating a new one. Sure, I have an example somewhere. Just give me a sec. Probably an admin page. Okay, yeah, right here. So like we've got our SQL statement, select star from basic where email equals email, but then, so instead of individually, since we're gonna have to retrieve it programmatically anyway, we just do star. Like I could put, instead of star, I could put name, last, apartment, blah, blah, blah. But star's just faster. And then you retrieve it programmatically by, okay, so since it's from basic, you do, name equals d dot name, last equals d dot last, because it's for d in pre-basic search, right? And so that's how we retrieve it programmatically. Any questions on that? And it's based off, so this variable name is, of course, you could name it whatever, but it's a good habit to just name it the same thing as what it is, so you know what it is. So like name, this d dot name has to be just like it is in the database to get the right thing from the database. So the d itself is the star, all the results, right? And you're getting the dot name one from the results. So no questions there? Okay. Go ahead and answer the next question. So is there anybody in the class that did IT in the military? If so, unmute and let me know.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
IP version 4 and 6.
Then you're probably real familiar with all this already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least you never worked with a NoSQL database though, right?
No.
Okay, so at least you'll be learning how to do that. So sorry if the rest of this is going to be boring to you, but it's a good refresher.
Yeah.
Okay, rearranging the code to select the name column values from the customers table. Select name from customers. Kevin, can you read this one?
Multiple queries. SQL allows to run multiple queries or commands at the same time. The following SQL statement selects the first name and city columns from the customers table. Remember to end each SQL statement with a semicolon to indicate that the statement is complete and ready to be interpreted. In this tutorial, we will use semicolon at the end of each SQL statement.
Okay. So this is just doing two different queries, getting the first names and then getting the city in a separate query. Whenever you run multiple queries, each query must end with a semicolon. Tim, can you read this one?
Hi, Brandon. You kind of went too fast on the last one. Hold on, let me get this answer real quick.
Is each query must end with a semicolon.
Okay. Case sensitivity. Hey, good afternoon. Case sensitivity. SQL is case insensitive. The following statements are equivalent and will produce the same result. Select city from customers, all spelled differently. It is common practice to write all SQL commands in uppercase. Thank you.
So that's true with Google SQL too. Like you can put your select and your from all lowercase or uppercase, it doesn't matter. What does matter is the name of your kind and the name of your, or so the name of your table and the name of your columns need to be the correct case, because it just does. So just something to remember, but the select and from and where and all that, it doesn't matter. All right, go ahead, answer the next question. SQL is case insensitive. Will, can you read this one?
Sure. A single SQL statement can be placed on one or more text lines. In addition, multiple SQL statements can be combined on a single text line, while a white space and multiple lines are ignored in SQL. For example, all the following queries are absolute correct. However, it is recommended that to avoid unnecessary white space and lines. Combined with proper spacing and indenting, breaking up the commands into logical lines will make your SQL statements much easier to read and maintain.
Okay, answer the next question. Which is true about white spaces. White spaces and line breaks are ignored. Jacob, can you read this one?
Selecting multiple columns. As previously mentioned, the SQL select statement retrieves the records from tables in your SQL database. You can select multiple table columns at once. Just list the column names, comma, separated by commas. Sorry. Do not put a comma after the last column name. Write a query to select the product name, production date, and expiration date to make sure the product is fresh.
Okay, go ahead and work on that and raise your hand once you're done. Okay, so a few of you are done. So we'll go over this. So for this one, they just want you to do select product name, product date, expiration date from products. Is anybody struggling with that and need help? Nope. Okay, then moving on.
Just want to clarify.
Uh-huh.
When you read it says separated by a comma, so that means I don't got to put a space. That's what I did. I didn't put a space, I just put a comma, and it works. I thought I was gonna get it wrong for some reason. So you guys select product name. You know how usually we press a space bar.
Yeah, as long as
But
you've got a comma, yeah, as long as you've got a comma, you're good to go.
Okay.
So, all right.
I need help. Sorry.
What?
I still need help. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Can you do screen share?
Yes. Error column.
Try putting it all on the same line. I know it's not supposed to matter, but add space and hit run. Okay, go to the problem because maybe something's spelled wrong. Click problem.
Problem.
The second one is supposed to be production date.
Ah, good looking out. And hit run. All right, there you go.
Typos. Got it. Thank you.
Anybody else having trouble? No. Okay. Fill in the blanks to select name and city from the people table. Select name, comma, city from people. Brian, can you read this one?
Selecting all columns. To retrieve all columns of the information contained in your table, place an asterisk sign after selecting the command, rather than typing each column names separately. The following SQL statement selects all of the columns in the customer's table. In SQL, the asterisk means all.
So occasionally you'll hear me say select all from basic or whatever. I mean star. I just sometimes say all, but that's what I mean. So, and we've kind of already covered that, the star, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Go ahead, answer the next one. Type in the missing symbol to select all of the columns from the student table. Select star from students. Sandra, can you read this one?
The district keyword. In situation in which you have multiple duplicate records in a table, it might make more sense to return only unique records instead of fetching the duplicates. The SQL distinct keyword is used in conjunction with select to eliminate all duplicate records and return only unique ones. The basic syntax of distinct is as follows. See the customers table below. Can you scroll up? Okay, thanks. Note that there are duplicate city names. The following SQL statements select only distinct value from the city column. This would produce the following result. Duplicate entries have been removed.
Okay, so you can't do that with NoSQL, but I mean, there's other ways of doing it programmatically. If you want like distinct results, like if you wanted to put, what's it? Oh, actually, hold on. They might have added it. Let me look at the SQL commands. Hold on. No, that wasn't it. Thought I had it saved. That's for BigQuery. Oh, okay. They do have distinct now. I don't think they used to have that. So disregard that. Okay. Go ahead and answer the next question.
It's a practice exam.
Oh, okay. Then go ahead and do the practice and raise your hand once you're done. And in this one, you don't need the ID. The only column you need is the checks column. Okay, so a lot of you are done. But let's do something different. Let's go to somebody who's not done and try and help. Jacob, can you do screen share?
I actually just finished, but yeah, I can.
Oh, no. If you're not done, or if you're done, then you're good. Brian, are you still working on it? Nope. Okay. Will, are you still working on it?
I'm still trying to catch up.
Oh, okay. Okay, whatever. We're not gonna do that then. So we'll just go over it. So for this one, they just wanted select distinct checks from operation.
Hey, Brandon, is it cap lock? Could you keep select distinct lowercase? The whole thing, the whole statement, can you keep it lowercase?
Yeah, it's case insensitive. You can do it lowercase, uppercase, whatever you want.
Okay, yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
The distinct keyword, drag and drop from the options below to build a query to get distinct results from the customers table. Select distinct state from customers. Patricia, can you read this one?
Okay, the limit keyword. By default, all results that satisfy the conditions specified in the SQL statement are returned. However, sometimes we need to retrieve just a subset of records. In MySQL, this is accomplished by using the limit keyword. The syntax for limit is as follows. For example, we can retrieve the first 5 records from the customers table. This would produce the following result. By default, all results that satisfy the conditions specified in the SQL statements are returned.
So limit is something you can use on GQuil as well, and it does come in handy sometimes. Like especially if, for example, like you only want to display like let's say 20 records per page, and then when they click the next page, then they see the next 20. But to do that, you have to also use offset, but we'll get to offset in a minute. Most likely. I'm sure at some point they'll cover offset, but go ahead, answer the next question. Drag and drop from the options below to complete the following statement, which selects 5 names from students. Select name from students, limit 5. Mike, can you read this one?
Yeah, the limit keyword. You can also pick up a set of keywords from a particular offset. In the following example, we pick up 4 records starting from the 3rd position. This would produce the following result. The reason that it produces the results starting from ID number 4 and not 3 is that MySQL starts counting from 0, meaning that the offset of the first row is 0 and not 1.
So it's just like lists in programming languages where it starts with 0. And so the offset, in the example I was given before, where you do, so like, let's say you just display 20 records on one page and then they click next to see more, right? Then on that next page, you'd have to offset it by 19, right? So that it can then show the next results or whatnot, and then you would limit it to 20 again or whatever for that page, or whatever number you pick, right? However many records you want to display, but that's how you would do that. So go ahead, answer the next question. Oh, and then the next one would be the next page that you do that, the offset would increase, but the limit would still stay the same. So the offset would be like 20 more. But yeah. All right. Use limit to select the ID and name columns from customers. Show 12 results starting from the 5th. Select ID name from customers, limit for 12.
Brandon,
Uh-huh.
I have a question. Like, I noticed that because this one gave me a little bit of trouble because it didn't list the I guess the offset. Does that matter that it didn't have it like the other page before? It showed offset, the actual word, and in here it just does the limit. So
On Google, you do need to use it, but with other SQL, you can just put the 4, 12. But with Google, they want you to actually put the word offset, or else it's not going to work. So,
yeah,
so just
okay.
get in the habit of doing that.
Thank you.
Mhm. Roger, can you read this one?
In SQL, you can provide the table name prior to the column name by separating them with a dot. The following statements are equivalent. Select city from customers, select customers dot city from customers. The term from the above mentioned syntax is called the fully qualified name of that column. This form of writing is especially useful when working with multiple tables that may share the same column names.
Yeah, so if you're, well, exactly like I said, we haven't gotten into like join statements and stuff like that, but when we do, and you're using multiple, you're pulling from like multiple different tables to get your one result, you need to do this fully qualified name. With Google though, you would just do it as like you would just run one query and then run another query within that query. So you're not really having to worry about joins and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll cover it anyway. Fill in the blanks to select the address from customers using the fully qualified name. For the address column, select customers.address from customers. Mark, can you read this one?
Order by is used with select to sort the return data. The following examples sort our customers table by the first name column. Results. As you can see, the rows are ordered alphabetically by the first name column. By default, order by keyword sorts the results in ascending order.
You can do order by with Google, but you need to have it's predefined keys in order to order it. So I'll show you all how to do that later, but just know it's possible, but only if you defined it, the order prior, because it wants to know like if it's ascending or descending. I don't know, it's stupid about that, but anyway. Go ahead and do the leaderboard and raise your hand once you're done. All right, a lot of you are done already, so we will move on. So this one, I just want you to do select all from players, order by losses. Order by builds a query to select name and city from the people table and order by the ID. So select name, comma, city from people, order by ID.
Can we go back to the practice?
Sure. So select star from players, order by losses.
Huh, and mine's not letting me run it.
Oh, okay. Can you do screen share? You put ordered. It's just order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Mark, can you read this one?
Order by can sort retrieve data by multiple columns. When used order by with more than one column, separate the list of columns by follow order by with commas. Here is a customer table, shows the following records. To order by last name and age. This order by statement returns the following results. As we have two Smiths, they will be ordered by the age column in ascending order. The order by command starts ordering in the same sequence as the columns. They will order by the first column listed, then by the second, and so on.
Yeah, so as you can see, when you're doing more than one, it's only going to give you, when you have duplicates, is it going to order by the next one? So, and most of the time, if you're doing order by, it's just going to be by one thing anyway. But all right, go ahead, answer the last question. Fill in the blanks to order the query results by name and then by state. Select name, state, address from customers, order by name, comma, state. Okay. So that is a good place to end for today. Go ahead and use your, so you're gonna have to activate your SQL, what's it called? Or not SQL, your Google data store, the cloud emulator, the thing that, you know, does the mock database in order to play around with your Google or your SQL statements. But go ahead and play around with what we learned today. And once you're done with that, go ahead and work on your resume project. And here, I'll send this to you guys too, just so you guys can see the different things that are available in Google that are also available in regular SQL. All right, I'm gonna log out. I will be right back.